Hello, hello. I came up with a video idea yesterday while sorting my items, and I'm going to talk about my guide here. Uh, in my guide, I kind of stated on how to build characters, but I didn't really explain how to prioritize building them. So I'm going to go over like which one's the best, which one's the worst to prioritize. Like in the beginning, of course, it's going to be your tower characters. You want those as strong as possible in the beginning. But I'm talking about like when you start obtaining ultimate gear, like the more rare stuff, like who do you put that on? Who do you like select in order to look through it first? In order to give that character the best items. So in place number 1 is going to be your DPS, whichever one you will be using most, or whichever one you are using in the moment. Because you could switch items around. You can switch this whole armor set. Okay, you could switch this whole armor set onto another character if you wanted to, but your top priority is probably your DPS hero, because you don't want that character to die while you're using it. It is your most important character while you are playing the game, pretty much. When you're doing DPS content. When you're not doing DPS content, your next best hero would probably be the one you are dealing damage most with your towers. Like, probably your builder, apprentice, or adept is probably your next most important character, because it needs to do the most damage. After that, I would say your monk. Well, hermit kind of has a place here, but I'm gonna say monk, or your initiate, builder, monk with your aura range, because you need that range up high. There's actually builds that are made easier because your range is so much higher. Less placement of auras means you have more DU to work with. After that, I'm gonna say hermit, because it also deals damage. It's also a top priority to get your damage up as high as possible, just like the adept. DPS EV is a gray area, but this is probably where I'd place her in personally. A lot of this is personal preference now. She needs to be strong. Like, I farm this for her, and I probably should get a better one, but I haven't needed a better one yet. I was looking through my items yesterday, and I was like, I have a lot of Aminar. So I've been farming that like crazy. So DPS EV after Hermit and Initiate. And after that, I think Tower Boost becomes important enough to go next. I don't think I've been treating him very well. I still have this weapon works perfectly fine for me. It doesn't need to be that great, but having this number as high as possible, the Tower Boost is... I have Hero Boost and Tower Boost pretty high, which is what I like, but I'd probably put him in this spot. Summoner is next on my list. You want this HP up there because you don't want those walls to break. I even put this honor on the summoner instead of like having these 700s as sides, because the only real important stat here is HP, and you only need the sides at like 2k or 1k. EV builder is surprisingly last on the list for builders. Or, well, almost last. I'd put Huntress and EV almost in the same spot. EV doesn't need a lot. Like, I have her at 7k, but you don't need that. Like, you can have her 2k across the board. She'll be fine for until endgame. You can keep her at trans armor and prioritize. Like, I just had a lot of armor, so I threw some good stuff on her, which you can do if you have the stuff. But I would not prioritize her high. Now, traps. Traps are not used a lot, but when you do use her, you do want her to be good. So you want that range high. Damage is optional. I like damage on my traps. And you want, I guess you want HP and rate, so your gas traps trigger more often. Upgrader Adept or Upgrader Jester, whichever one you're using. You probably want that to be in this spot right about now. She could run with trans armor no problem, and just the higher this number is, the further your aura is and the more comfortable it is to upgrade stuff in situations. She doesn't need to be super high because she's not a high priority character. Same with Jester. I don't even think I have armor on my Jesters because I haven't been using them. So like this, in order of importance now, is just comes with, do you use them or not? Oh, I did throw an armor set and accessory set on this character, I think yesterday. So yeah, I have not been using Jester lately, so I have not been prioritizing her much. And then Guardian Summoners. I mean, they can just get your hand-me-down stuff, really. Like this was an old DPS piece of armor that I probably used in the past. Yeah, they just need resistances and HP, so they can get your old DPS sets that you upgrade from, really. They don't need a lot. They're the only stat that's important is this one on the Guardians themselves.